What's going on the YouTube? Kenny here, also known as Silent Fan 85. Welcome to another serious mode. I recently did one about net neutrality, so if you guys want to check that one out, it'll be linked down below. This one is a bit of a change up, though. I have talked about this in the past. I have talked about what I'm about to say on many streams in the past. And this is going to be a bit of a video because this is actually a bit of a message as well. Message! For those people that may doubt mental illness, for those people that may doubt mental disorders, for those that say it's all in your head, you can fix it just by pulling some magical thought out of your ass. Yeah, your days are numbered. and I mean that in a generational way. There's been a lot of times in human history when thoughts have seemed stupid or unbelievable, or that, well, that's just what somebody believes. The Earth is round. The sun revolves around the Earth. There are no other life on planets. There, so on and so forth. Science will never take off. Man will never make it to the moon. There's always going to be counter arguments for these, even though it's a small percentage of the populace that thinks these things didn't happen or won't happen. But I make an argument of people with physical disabilities. They are obviously right there in front of us, very evident. Somebody loses an arm, somebody loses a leg, the evidence is right there in the physical form. Somebody loses an eye, somebody's blind, somebody can't talk, somebody's deaf. It's right there, you can see it. So it's, very hard to dispute that, if at all. Although there surprisingly are apparently people who dispute that. God knows why. But when it comes to mental illness, we are still, I think, in the early stages of people growing to understand this. Now, for the people that are unwilling and totally deny to understand this, there's nothing we can do about you. You are who you are, and that's fine. Although I will say you probably have a type of mental illness because you're either very stubborn mentally or you just lack the capacity for understanding this sort of thing. So be it. Now, I know that's a little harsh, and people are going to say, well, Silent, that is kind of harsh on people. Unfortunately, it's the truth, and it is very popular opinions like that tend to hold back humanity from progressing to better understanding our mental state, and how we can help people that may or may not be programmed in a certain way. For me, myself, for those that have heard me talk about it on stream, I have been diagnosed with chronic OCD with situational anxiety. Now, for the longest time, I just thought, hey, it's just who I am. It's my normal routine. There's nothing wrong with me. It's all in my head. I'll concentrate and fix it. Well, that was until about up to last year when I spent 2 months with suicidal thoughts and tendencies. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, suicide, that's just, that's just the easy way out. It seems that way until you're stuck with pretty much every thought, every night, every minute of every hour, struggling with this tar pit, these demons, as some people will put them, of a mentality that won't go away, no matter how much you fight it. It keeps coming back. You don't want it, it's intrusive, and it just keeps showing up, and you obsess over it. Now, let it be said, the only thing that saved me, because I am, quote, self-sacrificing, unquote, so I didn't think of myself when it came to these thoughts. I didn't think of that. What saved me, aside from getting counseling and a little bit of help, was my family and my friends and my community here on YouTube. The truth about suicide is that it doesn't end the pain, it just spreads it to other people that love you. So there's that. Now, that's just one part of it. That's when all this started. That's when I started looking at myself and saying, hey, there's something wrong. What's happening? Well, this year is when I was diagnosed. And the first couple of years, when you're first diagnosed with a mental disorder and you start learning the triggers, you start learning the ins and outs of what happens when you're in certain situations, or for some people when you're in social settings, or if you just can't go outside, so on and so forth. It's tough when you first learn about it. And you learn to readapt your life, readapt your way of living. There are some things in your life that you have to, even though you don't want to, and you literally lie up and cry at night. I've had to cut certain things out of my life and quit certain things. And there's still stuff I'm struggling with to this day, and I probably will for a number of years. Because I've been on this earth 33 years. And for 32 of those years, I just thought it was who I was. You know, my life was just how it was. I was very impulsive. I obsessed over stuff, although I didn't see it as obsession. I just saw it as concentrating and focusing in on a problem until I got it done. Until something affected me so deep that I had to reanalyze my life and go talk to a couple of doctors and get some counseling. And that's what I've went through. Now, getting back to people that can't accept this reality, that don't see it, they're incapable or unwilling. The truth is, whether you like it or not, humanity is on an upward rise of understanding this stuff. A couple of generations from now, it'll be normal practice for people to be diagnosed with this stuff and get help. It'll be a part of the human population. Hell, it already is in a lot of manners. And there will always be a part of the populace that will never understand it, or again, will be unwilling to understand it, and just see it as popular science or something like that. There will be a religious aspect to it, to where somebody just has demons they're wrestling with, and that's fine. Pray. I was raised in that setting, you know, you pray about everything. But at the same time, we were given brains for a reason, and sometimes that the programming in our brains, something's gone awry, and maybe it just needs an adjustment. And I'm not talking mentally sitting there praying and focusing. Maybe that works for a few people, but in general, our brain sometimes needs help. Whether it's, you know, pills, counseling, you know, maybe a little bit of intensive treatment. It happens, and it's just a part of humanity, just like physical disabilities. There are mental disabilities. Now, with that said, there are some people that just have emotional problems, you know, which again is purely mental. It's all mental when it comes to emotional, it comes to attitude, it comes to the way they see life. It's all mental. It all comes back to our brains. Our brains are nothing but squishy pieces of meat powering human mechs for nerds out there. Our brains is all that matters. Without a brain, we're nothing. So it's the most important part of our body, and it's what we need to keep the healthiest, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And again, I kind of ranted on this, but I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into what happened, what brought this about. I've been thinking on it for about a week or so, and I finally decided to do a serious mode because when we were doing Hellblade, which is a game built around mental struggles and disorders and everything. If you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. But beware, it is a very intense game. During that stream, a couple of unnamed individuals, whether they were trolling or not, or whether they believed what they were actually saying, said that this shit is all in your head. It's not real. You know, just deal with it. Problem is, a lot of people that just deal with it end up causing mass shootings or doing something horrific to themselves or their family. So yeah, deal with it, you know. That's all I can say. Anyway, with that said, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. And if you're struggling, talk to somebody. Don't just let people close you into your own head. It's not good. I've been there. It is not good to be closed in your own head. If you're an introvert, I definitely get that. But talk to somebody. Even if it's some random person on the internet. It helps to get stuff out. But if you're mocked, do your damnedest to put up a wall and don't let them get to you. Because these people don't understand. And they probably never will. See ya.